Hello, guys, and welcome back to Joe's Ventures. And today, you can see here, another month has gone past, so we get another Prehistoric Kingdom dev diary, or another devlog, as you like to say. Another month, another devlog. Yeah, so this one's for June of 2023. I'm quite excited to get stuck in this one. This is a very meaty one, and it goes over one of the new animals coming, as you can kind of see there. New updates and big changes coming in the next update, and some new gameplay things, which I'm really excited to go over. So it's a big, bulky one. So let's not waste too much time and get right into it. So we've got welcome to the June development update. In today's blog post, the team shares what is the longest dev diary in quite some time. We're talking animals, gameplay, pretty pictures, a painfully long word count, the whole shebang. There's so much to get through, and we're just going to get right into it. Okay, so where we're at. If you've been keeping up with our dev diaries over the last few months, you'll know that the team has been tackling a bunch of updates at the same time, with the new release continues to receive much focus. Update 8, we're able to start pre-production on quite a few more features. So the team's been laying down the groundwork for a bunch of exciting future additions, most notably Breakouts, Animal Ontogeny, or Growing Up, and very much requested Paleo Flora, with scientific advisory and original concepts by Tom Parker, one of our 2D artists. Ida has been, one of our 2D artists, Ida, has painted custom leaf textures for over 10 species of Paleoflora so far. These textures will be used to address the 3D models of our foliage. Being one of the less celebrated aspects of prehistoric ecosystems, we hope to bring a new appreciation of paleoflora to the wider public once paleobotany releases down the line. So you can see these wonderful additions here. So you can see a ginkgo and some other species of extinct plants. Really, really cool. Really big fan. I love paleoflora. It's something I've always wanted to learn more about. It's just really hard to get into, to be honest, but I'm really excited to learn more about that. There's so many cool extinct plants that we're going to have a look at, especially like some of the carboniferous ones, like the big Leptosporidium, I believe, say trees. Those really big trees that they had, I believe that's really cool. Anyway, in other news, we've been carefully reviewing the main gameplay loop and will be address some pain points over the next few updates. Whether the system that feels too disconnected from another, or one that's potentially more hidden than we'd like, we'll be drafting up alternative design plans that we believe will make the game more fun and rewarding to play. So later in the dev diary, we get a bit of glimpse of one of these changes coming up, the produce station. So that's coming up on update 9, so you'll have a look at that. But let's focus now on what's coming on 1.8. So we got animals. So the animal overhaul has been going really well, so that's good. Our test dummy, the Velociraptor, has a brand new AI brain that directs it through towards a random point. The completely rebuilt animation controller drives the animal procedurally, so doing it as it goes, pretty much. Staffing, turning, reversing, and moving at variable speeds to get to his destination. So this locomotion system has just come online as a time of writing. So this is a super early version, so it may look a bit jittery and a little bit stiff, but this is basically just fresh off the printer, just really fresh. So have a look at this. So look at some development footage of the proto navigating from point to point. Apologies for the presentation. So this is work in progress, very much something that's in the works. So let's have a look. So look at this little guy. So yeah, that looks really nice. You can see already like the It flows much more organically. It doesn't just run in a straight line, then turn. It kind of flows more organically as the animal thinks about it. It's like, oh, I want to go this way. Nah, back up, go this way. It feels much more organic, and even though it's a little bit jittery and probably a little bit stiff now, this is really only the beginning, so this is going to get much better than this, so I can't wait to see it in the update, because it's probably going to be so much more organic and free-flowing. And even as now, you can definitely see a lot more life coming into the animal and feeling a lot more organic and less robotic, which is really, really cool. So there are a number of things we'd like to polish over the next month, e.g. stopping litter, correcting animation movement speeds, improving pathfinding accuracy, things like that. But overall, potential for authentic and dynamic looking animals is totally there, and with future developments it's going to look so good. So now that we can get the animals moving, we can continue building everything that sits on top of it. Their needs, their interactions for eating and drinking. We essentially need to reintroduce elements from the current game into a smarter way that contributes to the organic and procedural goals of this rework. One of the key pillars with the animal overhaul was that make them run fast, not physically but computably. So when possible, these new underlying systems are multi-threaded, which means there's much more performant and optimized for modern processors, which is really, really cool. So basically they'll be able to move on the fly, react much more organically, which is really cool. There's of course a lot more work to be done before the animals are completely ready to ship, but we're incredibly happy with where they've been headed and can't wait to finish them up for you. So making an AI movement system that's sophisticated requires a lot of time and research, so we thank you for being patient with us. So you can see there, that's the beginnings of it. That's literally the beginnings of it. This first version kind of just let out into the wild, and it already looks really, really nice. So can't wait to see what they do with that in the future, so it's going to be really cool. And we'd love to see a cute little Protoceratops. So next up, we have got a new species. So we can see the Velociraptor spotlight. So let's have a look at that.
Blink and you'll miss it. Here comes the speedy thief, Velociraptor. Many visitors are surprised when they first spot these handsome little devils. They arrive expecting a big, boxy, featherless raptor, and are always shocked to see how slender and feathery these dinosaurs really are.
Cool. So you can see that Velociraptor, and you see that little bit of tidbit from Nigel saying, "I don't like the Jurassic Park ones," which is really, really cool. I love hearing Nigel Muffin talking about the animals. His little tidbits of information and things are always so, so great. And yeah, I love the design. So we're getting to that. So it's small, it's speedy, you know it, you love it, it's Velociraptor. So making a glorious return to prehistoric kingdom, this feathery fossil has been restored with a dashing, retractable mohawk and a variety of bird-like calls that you heard, which are really, really nice. Having once roamed the Cretaceous landscapes of Mongolia, everyone's favourite 3-foot turkey, not 6-foot turkey, will be the next animal arriving in Update 8. So you can see the animal comes in 3 different skins, Dust Devil, Mirage, and Oasis, each having their fun little design detail. So Oasis, you can see the first one, kind of orangey with the dark on the back, which is really, really nice. We'll have a look there. So you can see this is Oasis. So this is the one that has no scales on the snout, so like keratin or just skin. Mirage, you can see here, is iridescence, so basically the skin kind of has a sheen to it, looks really, really nice, and it has sexual dimorphism, so you can see the male's got a lot more brightness to him, you see a lot more white and stuff like that, and this one's a lot more dark, the female. And Dust Devil pretty much looks exactly like a Roadrunner, you could say, inspired by Roadrunners, and then you can see the crest that they have, the feathered crest retracted down there. It looks super, super nice. It looks so much like a living animal. I love it so much. It's very much, it's like a prehistoric planet level of kind of realism to me. Even though it isn't a game, it just feels real. You see, you got the feathers and like the big brow that they've added from the birds of prey and the mohawk. It just feels so organic and realistic. Really, really great addition, I think. The team had a lot of fun with this animal. Well, let's see. The raptors have a lot of personality, and despite only being a 2-star, which I think some people might be a little bit worried about, it has always be a 5-star in our hearts. And again, it's a 3-foot animal, so it's not quite as big as it was in Jurassic Park. You know, I'm sure most of us know the kind of story there. I won't explain it, but It's still cool that we're getting this animal. I think it's definitely realistic. Just because the name Velociraptor is famous doesn't mean the animal itself is famous. What we have in famous Velociraptor idea of it is not Velociraptor itself. It's more like Utahraptor or Deinonychus. So I think it's better to put it as a 2-star. But still a really, really awesome animal regardless. And I'm sure it's going to be a fan favorite anyway, even though it's only a 2-star in game. And plus it gives you an animal that people really like early, so I can't complain with that. So that's our latest animal. Next up, we've got an update to the tropical biome. So humid air, sunny skies. Yep, the tropical biome is getting a total makeover in Update 8, including 34 foliage items. The environment team has truly given our oldest biome some new love. So you can see some of the wonderful new changes here. See the elephant ears and some of the palm trees, and look at that, how wonderful. So you can see all these wonderful trees, banana tree, bird nest, coconut palm, elephant ear, fan palm, all these different palms and stuff like that. The kapok tree really, really looks nice. Really, really awesome. So in addition to all these plants, we've made some changes to the biome itself. So the tropical dirt has now become a lovely leaf litter, and the Simona tree has been moved to gardening as it not only fits the biome's aesthetic. So there's some changes there. With all of these improvements, the tropical biome now looks absolutely gorgeous. All the assets have been updated to better resemble their real-life counterparts, so do keep in mind that existing parts might look a bit different depending on how you use the original plants, but you can see how wonderful this looks. This literally looks like you've just taken some dinosaurs and plopped them in a jungle, because you can see there like the denseness of the plants. There's like the canopy and the understory, and it feels it's just how everything is placed. It feels like a realistic forest, and I feel like that's something most video games have not got, and I feel like Prehistoric Kingdom has got that to the closest, making it feel like a realistic forest with the different stories of plants and things like that, and different heights and things like that, and the denseness of it. So I think Prehistoric Kingdom has really done a wonderful job, and you can see that with the T-Rex here. Really just feels like you've walked into Jurassic Park and you see a T-Rex. They're really, really amazing. Definitely a big fan. And you can see the Brachiosaurus there. It looks right at home in this wonderful forest. Definitely an awesome job. So gameplay. Let's see, this one's loaded. There we are. So the obviously technical difficulties, but gameplay. So we got Park Beauty. So previously known as Land Value, Park Beauty is a new mechanic that factors to how attractive your zoo is into the park rating, looking at the guests' accessible areas to calculate what's bad and what's good. So you can see that here. So park management, unique species, animal diversity, we see Brachiosaurus in there. Park beauty, low beauty is things that look ugly or got poop in there, but you can see the high ones here, see pretty trees, really large beautiful animals, some nice architecture. So really, really cool mechanic, I think. So since the last dev diary, Park Beauty now interacts with dung piles and the score of an exhibit, positively illuminating healthy habitats and marking poorly marked stinky habitats as bad. So it's like a really quick visual way to see, oh, this habitat's good, this habitat's dirty, or just bad, and also just like allows you to see it at face value really quick. By constructing gardens, statues, decorated structures, and placing foliage near your buildings, you will quickly begin to cultivate a high Park Beauty score in the surrounding areas. So if an area is pretty, guests are much more likely to use donation boxes and help give your park an economic boost. So that's really, really cool. Really, really awesome. Definitely has come out wonderfully. And the park was done by Magnanimous Matt, so really did a wonderful job. Love seeing how this did. Great job. So next up, so on the other side of the spectrum, modules such as power generators can be quite ugly, and using walls, fences, and foliage, players in challenge modes have to think about how they can build their park to best obstruct the view of these modules from guests. So this is gameplay elements. So basically you want to keep the ugly things away. So like power generators and backstage stuff that are ugly. You don't want people seeing those. You want people to see the pretty animals and the pretty enclosures and the pretty sculptures and gardens and things like that. So you got to be a little bit more careful with how you build things. It's another element which I think is really going to add to the gameplay. So that's for update 1.8. So this is for update 9. So really, really awesome. So jumping from update over to update 9, we'd like to discuss one of the upcoming changes to the gameplay loop. So, with Park Beauty becoming a more central mechanic for challenge mode, the team's very keen to introduce more modules that provide a function or service to the park. Recently, it's been one of a big goal of ours to add some management aspects out of the menus and back into the world, which contextualizes it within the infrastructure that Prehistoric Kingdom might need to operate. So here's our first change. So gameplay, we've got produce stations. So produce stations are large customizable modules that allow that passively produce food for your plants animal feeders, or the park's animal feeders, you could say. So placing a produce station in the park will automatically begin generating a single piece of stock every few seconds, cycling through one diet at a time. This means you get one plant, then one fruit, then one fish, etc. And of course, a minute over the course of a minute before the cycle repeats. As you can see, this one's kind of the basic one with all diets. You can see they've got some fish, some insects, some plants, and some meat as well. So you kind of go through all of those. So this is something you'd start out with. You'd have one, and you have a bunch of different foods, and then you kind of expand it as you go on. However, a produce station can be specialized to one certain diet. So if you have a lot of herbivores in the early game, it might be worth actually setting your produce station to only generate plants. So you see all the different plants here, carrots and capsicums and tomatoes and all that. Really, really cool. And you'll now be getting way more plants, but soon you'll need a second produce station if you have some carnivores that you need to support. Luckily, with enough funds to support your upkeep, you can build a whole set of specialized produce stations to capitalize on the extra efficiency. So changing a diet specialization from a produce station will also change the exterior farm art, so you'll be able to know what it is making at a glance. So players can specialize in plants, fruits, meats, fish, or insects. So you can see here, it's a visual change. So instead of always having something look at a menu, this is something visually changed. You can see this one, the first one is producing a lot of fruits. The next one's producing a lot of plants. The next one's also producing like meats. And then the last one's there, you can see the fish tank producing fish, and the last one producing insects. So it's a way to reduce looking at menus, so you can visual glance. So if you're zooming across a part, in your God view, and you think, oh, that one makes fish, I can go to that one. Oh, that one makes insects, I'll go to that one. So really, really cool in that regard. And it'd be really cool as well if we can have multiple, especially with bigger parks, because comparing to modern life zoos, obviously most zoos don't grow their own produce, but they will have different kitchens around the zoo to prepare food for different animals, just so you don't have too many keepers in one space or having to move around too much in a big zoo. So what they'll do is they'll just have a central place where they deliver it all and then send it out. So this could pretty much act as a kitchen. So you can have different animals producing different things. Different produce for different animals act as a kitchen. So I think it'd be really cool to have a little backstage area where you can have a couple of these to produce food for your big sauropods and something like that, and then you have another one that feeds all your carnivores in a certain area, things like that. So you have a Asian area, and you have a fish hatchery and a meat hatchery for your Velociraptors and Donakairos and things like that. So yeah, it's definitely something that you can play with. And as well, we've got produce storage. So to better manage the park's food storage, we actually suggest researching some produce storage modules. So these crates add to the global storage capacity, allowing you to generate and hold more food. So pretty much any time a feeder is resupplied out of the park, the required amount will be automatically taken out of storage. And the off chance that you're making more food than your capacity allows, the excess produce will be sold off for a small profit. So that's cool. So you could basically just start farming if you really want to. But really, really cool in that regard. So this would be good for putting them around the park. So you can maybe even, if you want to be more realistic, just put some around the park and around different kitchen areas and things like that around your park to kind of add a little bit of realism, but also have a gameplay function to it and with the produce as well. But that's really, really cool. And that's pretty much it. The two modules will eventually replace the shipping mechanic that used to be in the current game. By bringing food production out of the menu and into the park itself, we hope to give the player more agency and choice, not only in the speed of their food production, but where in the zoo they'll be placed. So that's really, really cool. I like that. Adds another element to making backstage areas and things like that. For us as developers, it also opens up the opportunities for things like storms, power outages and facilities breaking down to impact a system that was previously untouchable. So basically, it allows you to mess up, which is good for gameplay, because that's basically what a game is. You're just overcoming adversity. The team is looking forward to developing this idea and bringing it to you in Update 9, so that's really, really cool. And to finish us up, we've got the community spotlight. So this reminds me very much of like Jurassic World. It's still really nice though, created by Carlos, 2022. Really, really nice. We've got this really nice picture by Gemini98, who gave us this wonderful picture of the T-Rex in the forest. It looks really, really awesome. Love the atmosphere. And by Lucy257, we've got some Lambeosaurs out in the desert. So really, really nice. Really cool. So thank you for reading this June's Dev Diary. As development of Update 8 continues into July, we get that little bit closer to finally handling this update off to the public. There's quite a bit left to do on the animal side of things, but as mentioned, the team's very optimistic, and we all looking forward to see it finished. So once we're happy and confident about hitting a specific release window, we'll let you know via our socials or in a dev diary. Until then, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. So yeah, that was definitely a very big, meaty one. We added all sorts of different game mechanics and introduced a new species and the new locomotion. That's really, really awesome. I'm really happy with that. That's come along. So yeah, I think this would be a very, very good place to end the video. So I really, really, really hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you guys like and subscribe. Always remember to hit the little bell icon to get notified of anything. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, hope you guys like and subscribe, and bye-bye.